Well, hey there, I'm Andi Colber, and you probably already know that if you're watching. So I wanted to do a little video today on emotional regulation. And so what I mean when I say emotional regulation is our capability to tolerate any feelings, emotions, sensations, experiences that are coming up in our body. And what that also means is that we are in a range of arousal that we can handle. And some people refer to this as the window of tolerance. And when we're in our window of tolerance, we're able to just be with the experience we're having. For some of us, especially if you've experienced trauma, especially trauma when you are a kiddo, your window of tolerance will be more narrow. And so because that's true, we want to pay special attention to when we feel like we're getting out of our window of tolerance, because it's really easy to get triggered, essentially. And so one of the things I like to teach people, just from the very beginning of any type of work, is something called grounding. And there's a couple of ways you can do grounding, but essentially what grounding is using sensory information to bring you immediately into the present. And this is really helpful because what it does is that it allows our prefrontal cortex, which is the top of our brain, to come back online. And when our prefrontal cortex is online, we're able to sort of think, we're able to essentially be more who we already are. So all the information that you might already know about how to take care of yourself, or maybe how God loves you, maybe how other people love you, is the actual sort of more factual, linear, logical ideas are available to you. And this is why grounding, I think, is just a really good first step in terms of how to regulate ourselves. So I'm going to do this with you for a moment. And this first one, this is adapted from Barb Myberger Institute, but it's basically called I Am Aware. And with that, what we're doing is we're using our immediate where we are to sort of pay attention and use the sensory information that comes from that. So I'm going to show you how to do this. And then after that, I'm going to do a little bit of a breathing exercise with you. So I am aware of the hardness of my seat. I am aware of the light in this room. I am aware of the texture of the table right here in front of me. I am aware of a soft humming in the background. I am aware of the texture of this board right here. It's a little bit fuzzy. I am aware of my breath. So as you do that, what you'll notice is that I really tried to use my hands and actually engage through a sensory in a sensory way with the things that I was aware of. And the other thing is that when we use the phrasing, I am aware, what we're doing is that we're actually really engaging our prefrontal cortex, which again is what makes us able to sort of come into our whole self. And so what this does is that it allows us, when we're bringing the sensory information in, we're really sort of, there's immediacy to that, and that immediacy then draws us into what we're exactly doing. And so when there's a sensory component, it makes it even stronger. So if you are struggling to stay in your window of tolerance, I would first recommend doing a grounding exercise. Other things that you can do are getting outside is a fabulous one. There's research that shows us just being outside, it's actually kind of funny, it's called nature bathing, but even just being outside without even movement can really improve our mental health. And I think a lot of that has to do with how much sensory information we're getting. So after you've done that, and just to add, you can use I Am Aware, for whatever is in your immediate surroundings. And so, sometimes I tell people when they're first learning, like, open up your fridge and like read the ingredients of things, like if that helps you be immediate. Smell things, like touch the spines of books, like whatever can help you engage in that. So this next part is just a really brief breathing exercise that I want to do with you. And this is really helpful to do after you've done grounding. And so what you can do is find a spot in your body that you notice might feel neutral. So for me, I'm just noticing that my knees are feeling really neutral, like I don't have a lot of sensation, and that's actually kind of calming. So as I do that, I'm just gonna take a moment and notice that part of my body. And then I'm just gonna breathe with that. And as I do, if anything disturbing comes up, I'm just gonna kind of direct my attention back to the part of my body that feels neutral. And I like to put my hand on my chest. Research shows us that any type of connection, even with ourselves, can actually increase oxytocin. And that's sort of the feel-good, love, basically neurotransmitter. And so that's a way that helps me connect to myself. But again, just noticing this part in my body, my knees. And as I do, I'm also just noticing the floor beneath my feet. I'm noticing that I'm still in this room. And if at any point I start to feel disconnected or not fully here, I can always open my eyes and reorient myself and do more grounding. So again, I would just invite you to find if there's a place in your body that either is maybe a place that feels good or at least neutral, to just sort of focus your attention on that spot and just do some breathing with that as much as that's tolerable. And I hope that some of these things will be helpful as you just kind of strengthen your toolbox around regulating. Thanks so much.